Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Darcy Rose Byrnes about Big Shot on Disney Plus and, of course, her music or singer-songwriter career. Thank you for your time. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Peter.
It's exciting. I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, naturally, a lot of people in the entertainment industry wear many hats and experiment with things. You do the acting, you do the singer-songwriting. Did you always know that was going to happen, or did it kind of just happen for you?
I think I always knew I wanted it to happen. I didn't think it would happen this soon. I didn't think it would happen in this way. Big Shot, it kind of just unraveled very naturally. I was talking to Dean Lorey and John Stamos about the future of Marper, which is myself and Tisha Custodio as Mouse.
Yep.
And, Dean Lorey joked about us playing Ukes together at some point, and I kind of joked along, taking my big shot, saying that I thought that Mouse should write a song for me. And he thought that was funny. And he said a song written by Mouse, that would be 3 lines and only facts. And we all laughed it off. And then I went home and I wrote that song. And I, sent it in as here, this is what I was thinking. Didn't really think anything of it. I was like, I tried, cool. I showed him what I can do. And then, they wrote it into the show and then asked me to write the musical that hadn't been written yet, the gender bent Macbeth, which was Beth Macbeth. So I don't know how it happened, but it's been weird.
Absolutely. Is it hard sometimes? Because for people that follow you on social media, you acting is something you're very focused on. You're also focused on the music. You put out a lot of your stuff. Do you find it difficult to balance the two? It's kind of like two different lives a little bit, right?
Yeah, I think that's something that I'm still trying to figure out. I think I know much more about the entertainment industry from the side of acting than I do from the music industry side. And I'm kind of been thrown into that from Big Shot and learning as I go. So I think the business juggle of that is something that I'm still learning. But I don't find it hard to juggle the principles themselves. I think they all kind of blend together and I learn things from each other. And I seem to be meshing my passions. From Big Shot already, I kind of, put them together. So, that's where I'm living so far.
Your character on Big Shot has a pretty big journey in terms of when we kind of meet your character and then what kind of happens with Tish character, Mouse, and everything. It's great. Was that evident in the script when you were reading that there was this journey with your character? Starts as a journalist and then moves towards it was a very interesting journey on Big Shot for your character.
It certainly was. Yeah. It's one of those journeys as an actor that you're like, yes. I don't know how much was in their mind originally when I first auditioned. When I pitched everything to me, we were filming episode 103. So that it was pretty early on that I kind of offered up that song. And I don't know if that was what they had initially planned, if Marper was going to be endgame, so to speak, at that point. I'm not sure if that was in their brain, but it certainly, is what ended up happening and ended up being the first queer love song on Disney and the first queer kiss. I don't know how I got to write that, but it's just a journey that as an actor, you're just so grateful to be able to play because it's so fun, but it's so complex.
Is that official? Is that the first Disney queer kiss?
Yeah, that's, I didn't know that. I didn't know that until after we filmed it, which I'm very, very grateful for because there was already a little bit of a magic in the air of what we were doing. We definitely knew and felt that it was special. But we didn't know that it was going to be, for lack of a more humble term, groundbreaking. We didn't know that it was going to be the first one, and it ended up being, I think, by a week, the first one on Disney Plus.
Wow!
So it was a pretty good Pride Month all around.
Absolutely. No, that's That's so great. I didn't realize that at all. I did not know that.
Yeah, neither did I originally. So thankfully.
I
Thankfully.
I loved Big Shot. I enjoyed every moment of that series. I think
Thank
the
you.
thing I loved about it the most, Darcy Rose, is the fact that these characters are so complicated and complex, and it's, you know, a all girls school, the basketball team, and it's just way more than that. And it's
Yeah.
every character is so complex. Did you notice that also in the script as well, like how complex these characters are?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, the writing right from the beginning was just gorgeous. It's beautifully written, and it's so fun, and it's fast and it's entertaining, but there's so much going on, and they're able to, straddle that line of a fun family show, but such complexity. I mean, it's David E. Kelly, Dean Lorey, and Brad Garrett are the creators. You don't get much better than that. We have an incredible writers room, and then it really helps when you have such incredible actors, like heading our ship, John Stamos, that really grounds it and makes it just amazing. You know,
Absolutely.
I'm named after one of the writers, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
Shapira. It's one of the writers in the writers room. Yeah,
That's
that was
awesome.
lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, we can characterize what Darcy Rose Byrnes is as a storyteller. That's what you do. Whether the acting, whether the acting, whether the music, you're a storyteller. What is your favorite thing about being a storyteller?
Gosh. Um, I think there's many different favorite things for me. I think okay, we'll start on the philosophical side. Stories I think are the most accessible and easy way to connect people who
Mhm.
maybe wouldn't otherwise have a chance to be connected. Going back to Big Shot, the first queer kiss on Disney, it's not treated like anything other than a really sweet first kiss
Yeah.
story. And I think about the little kids and the families that are growing up with shows like that as their example of what love is or can be,
Yep.
and how that matters. That's important. The fact that it's treated as not being different is what's different about it. So stories have, you're right in people's homes. You have the ability to, I've said it before, I'll say it again, heal hearts and change minds. But you also have the ability to just make people laugh or make them feel seen, or relate to someone on the street because they're wearing a Ted Lasso shirt, and you're like, "Hey, I know that." And you have a friend because you both speak Klingon. It's there's something magical about, I think that magic is real, and I think that the real world version of magic is words and
Did
how
you
we use
rehearse
them.
that? That was fantastic, by the way. You like had like the pop culture references ready. Like that is
I'm a
unbelievable.
nerd. I am a nerd. That is what you have to
So
understand. I am a
are
nerd.
you a big Ted Lasso fan?
I am a huge Ted Lasso
Have
fan.
you
Hannah
seen
Waterman
that?
starts singing and I start crying.
Have you
Like, she just
seen
opens her mouth and I cry.
have you seen that we've interviewed like a lot of cast members from that show? Like
Oh, yes,
we've
I
interviewed
have.
like
Yes, I have. Yes, I had the biggest kick out moment in the world when she was talking about the guy she was dating, and she says John, and he goes Stamos, and he like videoed it. He sent it to Dean and John. I'm like, look, guys.
I think you know what? It's interesting because this can actually tie into our conversation right now. I mean, I told you why I love Big Shot. I mean, Big Shot and Ted Lasso, I think, are very similar in the sense that they're shows about sports, but they're not really about sports.
Okay.
It's about way more than sports. It's about
Yes.
people and relationships. And I find that's very important. I think that's why, like, there are some sports shows that focus a lot on the sports. I think Big Shot and Ted Lasso do a great job, and we'll talk more about Big Shot. It's true, right? It's like almost two shows, right? It's like two shows if you think about it. The basketball and like the non-basketball stuff.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, what we relate to the most is people, not
Yep.
scoreboards. So having the game be the backdrop for a story about these people, I think is a really it's a great backdrop, of course. Yeah.
It's amazing as well. What have you been up to music wise in terms of we're talking a lot about Big Shot now, but what can you tell us about like the music side of things? Like Like release wise, video wise, anything on the horizon or?
Yeah, possibly nothing that I can talk about at the moment. Um, I I seem to find myself, pitching to shows and stuff, and I like that.
Yep.
So we'll see what goes with that. I have a pipe dream of pitching a song to Hannah Waddingham for Ted Lasso, but that's not currently happening. I'm just saying it out loud, for myself. You know, working. I'm always accidentally writing a musical. Um, I just keep writing, and then I end up finding places for my songs or different ways to see my songs that I hadn't previously. I think I'm about 300 songs right now.
Wow.
Kind of going through and trying to make usable at least demos during the pandemic, and my parodies is what I was doing during the quarantine as well. That's what kind of kept me sane.
So when do you know you have something special when you're writing a song? Does it depend on like the song? Or like, for example, I'm curious, right? Like different people have kind of these moments where they're messing around with like a melody or they put lyrics down and they're like, wow, that's good. But like for you, when does that happen? Is it when you like play it back? Is it when you're writing it?
Yeah. Well, I have many different writing processes. So as far as the writing thing goes, I think I have a pretty good internal um, way to tell if it's good or not. But I know when it's good,
Yep.
or at least catchy, because those aren't always the same things. When I have a parrot who swears and sings opera, who's across from my piano, my upright piano, and when I'm playing one of the songs, or if it's on guitar or bass, any one of the instruments that I'm playing near him, when he starts singing along, even though he doesn't know the song, that's when I know I have something. Because
Wow.
if he
That's
likes it,
awesome.
he cannot stop singing. There was this song I wrote a while ago. It was a completely instrumental piece. I think it was I think 7-part orchestra, and I was playing it, and I wasn't even playing it live because it was orchestration. So I got two hands, unfortunately, so I couldn't play the harp and the flute and everything at the same time. So I was playing back the sheet music, making sure that I wrote it correctly,
Yeah.
that I had what I had played on piano I had written down correctly, and I played it back, the whole score, and he started singing along, and he wasn't singing along with any of the instruments. He just created his entirely own counterpoint melody.
Wow.
And it was strange. And I filmed him, and then I played it back for my mom, like, isn't this insane? And then he did it again with himself at the exact same time. So he's got a very good ear. So if he sings along, I know I'm in a good place.
That's I gotta interview him for the show. He's gotta come on the show. We're gonna make it happen.
I will make it happen. I will if I bring him into the booth here. This is my TARDIS, by the way. This is not a whisper room. It's a TARDIS. If I bring him in here, he will never leave because he'll think it's a nest box.
Yeah, exactly.
And
No, you don't want
this is mine. This is mine now. He's like, I like the acoustics.
Yeah, he's gonna take it over. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. I wrote him a song because he always sings the phrase "way up high" all the time because of an original musical that my mom did a long time ago, and I don't even think that's the melody. But he always sings those words "way up high."
Yep.
No matter what song it is, he sings that. So I was trying to be nice. Mistake number one. And I said, well, I want him to have a song that he knows the words to. So I wrote him a song called Way Up High. Way up high, I'm floating way up high. So high, I think I might just fall in love. I wrote that for him, so he'd know the words. Every single time I sing it, he just stares at me. He's like, I know what you want. I'm not going to do it. What are you going to do about it, human? Yeah.
That's amazing. No, seriously, that's so good. Darcy Rose, thank you so much for coming on Popternative. I really enjoyed chatting with you.
Thank you for having me. It was wonderful.
So can you plug away? Well, first of all, people can watch Big Shot now on Disney Plus. They haven't already, which is amazing. And plug your socials. Where can people follow you on social media? Keep up to date with everything.
Sure. Yeah, I'm at Darcy Rose Byrnes on Twitter and Instagram. I think I'm derose.start on Facebook because of a philosophy of mine. Byrnes is Byrnes. It's like George Burns, but with fancy spelling. And yeah, hope, fingers crossed you'll see us for season 2. We'll see. But you can watch the whole season on Disney Plus right now, and hopefully I'll be seeing y'all at Comic-Con in 2022.
Absolutely. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Darcy Rose Byrnes and Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.